Welcome back to the 8th plot for another What If video. This time it's off the back of our Honest Movie News episode based in the Inception universe. As usual, I'll review the movie through the lens of whether or not the story gave a good answer to the what if question it posed, and I'll explore my own answers after that. Now, let's just briefly recap the film so we're all on the same page. Warning, spoilers ahead. The central plot device is a technology which is little more than a briefcase with its contents largely unknown. That allows people to enter each other's dreams and live out whole lifetimes sometimes in the memories of another person in a matter of minutes sometimes. The protagonist, Cobb, works as an extractor, an illegal, presumably, practice of infiltrating dreams of a person and stealing their secrets. It's sort of like mind reading with extra steps. Now, due to the police in America believing that he murdered his wife, Cobb stays overseas doing various jobs as an extractor. He is hired by a person called Saito to do the opposite of extraction, called inception, where an idea is implanted into a human mind through a dream rather than extracted. This would therefore change their sort of whole outlook and essentially like mind control, I guess. Cobb succeeds through a reverse heist sort of film plot, if you will, and Saito arranges to have his charges cleared and he can return to the USA again to meet his children. Now, the film ends with a cliffhanger where Cobb fails to reveal to us, the audience, whether or not he is still dreaming or he has actually returned to reality. Has he actually met his kids, or is he living out a fantasy in his own head? Maybe it's the real world, we just don't know. That's a great cliffhanger anyway. And this is all explored in relating to Inception itself. Now, I think the film's what if question is, what if we could enter people's dreams? And obviously the whole heist and changing this Fisher's guy's memories is all part of that. And Inception is considered a good film. It's got good visuals, it's complicated heist dynamics, and it's all acted really well. It's an appealing, diverse cast, it's the cliffhanger ending. It's an incredible story with good action. But I think the film is really good because it answered its what if question very, very well. The technology is not explained to us. It simply seems to be a process of hooking up your blood to a device along with someone else and you're done. However, how it works, like in all these films, is a sort of science fiction mumbo jumbo. It's not something I can explore. However, it's the world building of Inception based around what this technology can do, which is why it provides such a good answer to its own what if question. What if we could infiltrate someone's dreams? The world building, the first aspect of world building that we sort of are introduced to is when Cobb attempts to steal information from Saito. Now, extraction as a job using this tech is a good answer. Someone will always use any new technology to make money through criminal enterprise, and so why not use it to steal someone else's secrets? The idea that secrets could be gleaned from someone's mind in a dream makes perfect sense to me. Psychologists have often thought that how we think manifests in our dreams. In the film, Cobb is with Saito in Saito's dream, and like most of us, he's unaware that he's in a dream, as with all dreams. Cobb directs him to look at a safe on the wall, causing the dream to manifest the safe and secrets inside. It feels incredibly in keeping with how we all experience dreams. Using this new tech to steal information makes complete sense, especially when it seems you can trick people in dreams to think they've exited a dream, and then in the real world where they can sort of be talked into relating their secrets to you. So that was an interesting point as well, that if you think you're in the real world, you might reveal something and then it can be used again. The technology, as I said, is basically mind reading, but the mechanics of dreams feel so much more like what we've experienced before, like all of us have experienced in dreams, and that's why it's a good answer. When Saito feels his carpet in the second level up, he demonstrates lucid dreaming. He obtains a clue that allows him to understand that he's sleeping, and he takes some form of control of the dream. Sort of like that beloved episode of Star Trek Voyager, which I'm sure you've all watched, where Chakotay fights aliens who can only live in a dream state. Lucid dreaming is very real. We've all probably experienced at some point, so it's well done that it's introduced in that manner at the very beginning of the film. Christopher Nolan's world building answers many central questions posed. We have the tokens, designed to tell us we're sleeping or not. Are we back in the real world? Something we've all experienced from waking up in a dream. At some point you've probably all snapped out of a dream that has been particularly nightmarish, and you've probably continued with it after being woken up. Now, I know I'm not dreaming very well because it's all in colour. I don't really dream in colour, I dream black and white a lot. So that's another way of knowing that I'm in reality. And there's also usually a sort of fuzzy edges to the dreams, which I don't see now. So I'm fairly certain I'm in the real world. And you are too. I also like the idea that the token is something that only we can know. And that's, in a sense, being in dreams, you kind of have that experience of something that not only tells you in a dream, but is only unique to you. I mean, I've always had those dreams as well, where I thought I was still at school needing homework, and I panic when I wake up and realise I'm actually now in my 30 years and I no longer need to do it. So the things like the tokens and the things like continuing to question reality afterwards makes complete sense. And it all makes the plot effective, and it all strengthens the heist nature of the film. Even the limbo state seems realistic. Many a time I've woken up minutes before my alarm goes off, so I snuggle up in bed knowing I've been given, by fate, an extra minute of sleep, and I intend to use it. Somehow I fall back into sleep for just 60 seconds and live out an entire dream in that moment. So the idea of the limbo state makes complete sense. And why wouldn't it be kind of like a Minecraft world where you get to build infinitely there? That's why Inception is a great film. We've been in dreams just like this, experiencing kind of the fundamental elements of it. It's weird that half the Batman trilogy cast are in it, but it doesn't really matter. And it just covers all aspects of dreaming, essentially. And even Inception is inserted quite nicely. Nolan isn't introducing anything that doesn't realistically depict how dreams work, to some extent. Inception itself, as a concept, is an excellent primary plot point. The idea that an idea can be introduced into a dream that grows to encompass our thinking, that seemed right to me. And it does seem like when you have a dream, you take what you learn from it and apply it in your real life. So if you want to do a story like Inception, don't forget to world build properly with the mechanics that people are familiar with when it comes to dreams. Let's say you came up with this idea to use, maybe we used emotion as currency. Hate would be really cheap, love would be really valuable. But whenever you're trying to build how that currency is traded, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, make sure it's sort of realistic to how we experience emotions, and so we can connect to it. Don't have outlandish ideas about how emotions don't work. But Inception also, the mechanics of Inception, doesn't have a monopoly on the premise of entering people's dreams. The beloved film Cell, which I've never seen, that I'm sure you've heard of, does kind of the same thing. You go into the mind, the psyche of a serial killer in that film, and you find it's all twisted and horrifying. Like, there's more you can do with the whole entering dreams. But I wanted to think of my own scenario that I could pitch to you, and maybe you can make something of this. I don't think this is a way of using dreams, to achieve something. So, and I kind of want to build off the Inception landscape, and also provide a sort of positive and negative aspect to it. So why not write a story where, like what we proposed in Honest Movie News, this technology completely makes the world unrecognizable. In the movie news episode, I said, for example, that schools would change forever. For one thing, since in Inception it stated that 1 minute is an hour in the dream, 1 minute of real life is an hour in the dream, then students could theoretically go to school for about a week in real time, but experience an entire 7 years. And you could even do that skipping thing from end of the day to the next day. They could cram all their learning into a very short space of time. There would be no need to craft materials, the dream would manifest it all. The teacher is even capable of marking homework in the dream, and you can always test them in the real world of what they learned. So during it, like teachers wouldn't also have to keep an eye on children. There's literally no way they can harm each other in the dream. So this technology would move the human race forward quite a bit. We'd be able to squeeze several years of education into just, like I said, less than a year, and then even do your higher education. Kids would be ready to enter the workforce much sooner, or have more time to be kids. And this is something that the Inception universe touched upon. And why can't we look at how this changes the world for massive positive benefits? Does it matter where you gained your learning and experience if it stays in your mind and you can apply it? Our current world is already on the way where people also seek escapism, like the Inception universe suggests. The world sucks and we mostly don't like our governments, they don't work for us properly. So why wouldn't you disappear into a dream, and why wouldn't that be your real life? So let's write a story, maybe you should do this, where we have the same technology and it's fundamentally changed the world. This technology doesn't seem to have changed the Inception universe as much. It just created the idea of extraction. But where human sort of activity has been kind of squeezed into more and more time. I mean, entertainment would balloon with this technology. Like, food would become mere sustenance. It's kind of like a virtual reality scenario, but the difference is it's not like Ready Player One where everyone's in the same virtual reality world. It's much more varied and the rules kind of more limitless than Ready Player One, or anything like that, certainly The Matrix. I would write this story, from the point of view of several characters, each going about their lives using the tech to showcase how life on Earth has changed. First, you could have the teacher, and then you could have like the budding scientist learning their craft within their dreamscape. You could have a prison guard serving in a dream prison, where prisoners live out their life sentences in a dream in a matter of hours or days, but still get the same effect. Maybe a soldier learning to fight in a dream, or a pilot, submarine captain, learning the whole craft in the dream safely and securely. Even getting it wrong, getting it right. Maybe a politician campaigning in dreams to show the world they intend to create. Maybe trials could happen in dreams, shortening their length, getting the justice system squeezed into more and more shorter amount of time. Maybe a new entertainment industry in a dream, etc. So several different characters. Through their eyes we see how an industry or aspect of society radically changed thanks to this technology. But any story needs a good conflict. Let's not do a heist in this case. Inception has done that. However, we could do one thing Inception touched upon and then make this the main conflict. So in Inception is in the case the reverse of the normal use of this technology. So extraction is the normal use of this technology. Use it to take information out. Inception is considered the impossible to do in dreams because it's considered that there's no way to implant a new idea in someone's head. Certainly not organic enough to feel to the victim like it's real.
We tried it. We got the idea in place, but it didn't take.
So we have a world where people live out their lives more efficiently because the tech allows you to learn quicker and to use time more efficiently. That's the norm. That's our sort of equivalent to extraction, with obviously none of the criminal and negative aspects. So let's push the benefit into a realm considered impossible. Now, in the Inception universe, there is this infinite dreamscape, avoided because it's unlikely you would ever return from it. Inception suggests that you could enter the infinite dreamscape. You would know where you are and you could enjoy it, knowing to simply kill yourself and return to the real world. However, it also traps people there. It trapped Saito there for some time towards the end of the film. And it's also got so much creativity that you ultimately get stuck there, presumably never wanting to return either. So maybe in our dream world, entering that state is considered the impossible thing to escape and avoided at all costs. But it has a huge amount of possibilities as well. So couldn't there be a benefit you could draw from it in the same way that Inception is considered impossible but could have lasting benefits if you could do it? Well, Cobb lived a whole life in the infinite dreamscape realm. He grew old there with Mal, and then he returned to a younger body. And he took a huge amount of experience back with him. So the infinite dreamscape could have the benefit of living out an entire life and then coming back to the real world, an adult, even more of an adult. So in our story, I think these several characters who I've introduced, the teacher, the prison guard, etc., etc., they're really good at using technology to learn and streamline life. So they're approached by someone who wants them to take part in an experiment to try and enter this infinite landscape and retain their minds each time. So enter it, spend decades there, come out and still be kind of the same person. These characters are experts in dream learning, of entering and re-entering dreams, so they're really good at it. It doesn't have any detrimental effects. The story revolves around them testing the limits of entering the limbo state and the difficulty of getting out. Maybe we lose some of them along the way, but we get to see the raw creativity they're able to do it there as well throughout the story. Then the experiment is a success. All of our main characters have helped their employer figure out a way to realise they're in limbo, make the most of decades, maybe centuries inside, then return to young bodies in the real time only a day later, maybe less. Now dream living can take the next step, live a whole life in limbo and then escape. A place where every human can fully realise themselves, where they can grow, improve, change, grow wiser, gain all kinds of new skills, new languages. It'll be endless. And then you return to the real world a more perfect human being. However, while our characters are in limbo, they find clues that their employer has a different intention for this technology. They actually work for a group, maybe a nation, who want all their people to enter the limbo state, spend centuries in there learning, improving their minds, acquiring vast amounts of experience and information, and then returning to the real world far ahead of everyone else. Like you could, for an hour or maybe a day, you could gain centuries and come back and be so far ahead of everyone else. And it's the conflict that would breed. So now our characters have to get out of limbo first, maybe. They have to battle with their employer inside, get out first, and then say it was all a complete failure, thus preventing anyone from actually getting into limbo in the future. So they return to the real world, they beat their employer there, and essentially they maybe leave him comatose in a dream, still dreaming, still trapped in the limbo, whatever you want to end it. And they kind of saved the world. They prevented this group, this like maybe a Hydra kind of organization, from taking a group of humans and improving them. Maybe a whole nation. The whole nation idea is really good. So there you go. There's an idea. That's one way you could use the whole sort of dreams within a dreams and the technology that allows you to experience dreams in a lucid way. So thanks for watching. Please go watch the other Honest Movie News episodes, and in the comments, what would you do differently with this story? Thanks for watching. Goodbye.